everybody, and welcome in to Blue Jays Today, where today, everybody, we are still talking about Alex Bregman and Pete Alonso. Listen, gentlemen, I love you. I want you to be in Blue Jays blue, but can we make a decision soon? Apparently so. That is the word on the street right now, that a decision should be coming very soon for both of these gentlemen. And the Toronto Blue Jays, whilst there has been rumblings about Mets and Astros and whatever, we are still very much in the mix. And an update from Hector Gomez, actually, who has been nailing it this offseason, let me add you. He's been on fire. An update from him has indicated that we have offers on the table for both of them. We're going to talk about that, as well as the fact that pitchers and catchers reporting, that's coming soon. Baseball's on the way, and 2 weeks exactly. I looked at the calendar. 2 weeks exactly until the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. extension deadline. Not next Monday, but the Monday following that. That's the 17th, and that is the last day that we can do anything with him, or the Toronto Blue Jays can do anything with him. So we're going to break all that down and more in this one. 222 people in here. If you haven't already done so, please hit that like button. Can we get up to 169 likes and smash the subscribe button if you enjoy the coverage here? I'm, of course, your host, Nicholas Playlog.
I'm Adam Peddle. What's up, Daniela? What's up, Mr. Bloopy, Laura Lee Z, everybody in the chat, Sam, Andy, Big Hog. Let's go. Welcome in, everybody, to this Monday show. Yeah, when I checked the calendar this morning and I saw that pitchers and catchers report is not this Thursday, but next Thursday, I got a little excited. I'm not gonna lie, I got a little bit of butterflies because in the last week, ever since Max Scherzer, I've been kind of buying in to this team a little bit. And I've been getting a little bit excited. I've been able to convince myself a little bit, but of course, we're not fully out of the offseason yet, right? We still got to talk about Pete Alonso and Alex Bregman. There's still two guys out there the Blue Jays are very much interested in right now.
Before we get into all of that, Alonzo and Bregman and everything like that, and the news surrounding them, what's the thing? And you can say any number of things here. You can tell me a positional group. You could tell me one specific player. You know, you can say whatever the hell you want here. But what's the thing that you're most excited about for 2025? Because you just said that you're starting to get excited about this team. What is the thing that you're looking at that you're most excited about, whether it be a player, position group, whatever?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly tough to pinpoint exactly what position or thing I'm excited for. Okay, maybe this is a cop-out answer, but I'm excited for the final year of Bo and Vlad. I know that's...
I don't think that's a cop-out answer. I think that's real.
Fair enough. I guess fair enough, right? Because, look, sure, we might get Vlad extended and maybe Bo in some reality, but the point is, them together, I don't think I see them playing together anymore after this year. And, this is it. Everything that we've known for the past 6 years is coming to an end. Now some people might be like, why is that exciting? I don't know. I can't really tell you. I'm excited to see what they've got. One last chance. What are they going to do in their final years together? They've been saying they want to win a World Series. They want to give it their all. This is it. I want to see what you guys can put on the table. And if you decide to put up some big numbers, maybe we got a chance. Maybe that's why I'm excited.
Yeah, no,
what about you?
I do get that, right? It's kind of like a necessity thing, right? You're convincing yourself that, well, because it's the last, or assuming it's the last year here with both of them together, well, it must end up,
it must be good. It's right? The final dance. It's Michael Jordan.
So no, I definitely hear you right there. Honestly, that pitching staff is exciting, and not because of Gausman, not because of Barrios, but for two guys. For me, I'm so excited to see Max Scherzer in a Blue Jays uniform. I am also extremely excited to see what I hope to be the continued breakout of Bowden Francis. Both of those things to me, seeing the old crazy veteran on the bump in Scherzer, teaching the new young gun in Bowden Francis what he knows and then helping him along the way, that is extremely exciting.
I actually kind of see a lot of similarities in Bowden Francis and Max Scherzer, not in terms of their crazy outspokenness, but in terms of a little bit of their mentality, where Bowden Francis picked up this year, which was, I don't care who you are, I'm going to throw my shit in the zone, I'm going to get you out, which is exactly what Max Scherzer does. He doesn't give a crap who you are, I'm going to get you out.
No, dude. I mean, I've seen various clips of him, in his career on the bump, just going F you, I'm gonna get you out, and dude, a bunch of other expletives and everything that.
Remember when in the World Series when he was pitching with a black eye in Game 7?
Oh yeah.
that's the guy I want on the bump, you
know?
know?
Different type of energy. But you guys let us know in the comments down below. What is the one thing that excites you the most? Is it a Ross Atkins firing? Is it, is it a change at the top? You guys let us know in the comments, everybody. One thing that is exciting a lot of people right now, this is kind of universal, is the possibility that Pete Alonso or Alex Bregman could join us. Because I'll tell you this much, everybody. You bring one of those guys, some people are even saying both. I'll tell you right now, that's probably not going to happen.
No.
But if you bring one of those guys to this lineup, to this team, my hope just skyrockets through the roof for what this team could accomplish. Before we can continue, quick shout out here to Absolute Dan, who's been a member for 6 months, saying, can't wait for baseball to start up again. Can't wait to see Scherzer pitch in a Jays uniform. Should I get a Scherzer jersey? If Scherzer does something crazy to either bring us to the playoffs or, continue a playoff run, then I think that you should.
I'm saying this. If he starts Game 5 of the ALDS or even Game 3 of the wild card and wins, that's Scherzer jersey buying worthy.
Yeah, and Zaid here with a donation saying, I hope the Vlad rumors are true that 450 was met. Well, I'll tell you right now, there was various people, not naming any names, various people in our DMs telling us that there is good updates here when we're talking about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. There's promising updates, good stuff happening. Now, we know not that much more than any of you guys, and we're not really allowed to say too much about anything right here, but there are apparently promising conversations, promising updates. I do need to be very clear here in telling everybody, don't hold your breath, because you know how this shit happens, right? We were hearing a couple weeks ago that Pete Alonso was a Toronto Blue Jay, right? Everybody was hearing that. Where are we right now? We still haven't got there yet. However, yes, I have also heard the promising rumblings right now about Guerrero, and I do hope that they are true.
And look, we never really met these people in person, in the flesh. We don't know who they are or whatever, but we've heard enough about them to feel somewhat not disregarding whatever they say, but hopefully it comes to fruition, and hopefully that they can get a deal done, and then we can kind of kick off this whole season. If they do get a deal done the next 2 weeks, that would going into this year, it not only do I feel good right now, but I feel great just for the longevity of being a Blue Jays fan, right? Because you are going to have Anthony Santander and Jeff Hoffman and Guerrero still together next year.
Yeah,
right?
100%. 40 Pianos in the chat saying, shut the fuck up. Report when there's something to report. Well, let's report on what Hector Gomez reported, saying that the Toronto Blue Jays have a 3-year deal and a 6-year deal right now out on the table for both Alonzo and Bregman.
Is that enough for you guys?
Yeah, is that enough for you? I don't know. 40 or whatever your name is.
No, listen, I'll just make 0 content until opening day. Would you want that?
But apparently the Toronto Blue Jays are out there right now. They got offers on the table for both Alonzo and Bregman. This was clearly a very exciting update to hear from Hector Gomez. And like we've said, Hector has been on his shit so far this offseason.
Right, and the way I honestly, how I interpret this, I don't mean to be negative Nancy, it's I kind of figured they already had these kind of deals. I mean, we already knew that the Blue Jays were in on Alonzo and that they were probably going to match a 3-year deal from the Mets. And then Alex Bregman, now that one we didn't hear too much about, but we knew that the Blue Jays had some sort of offer in place. We didn't know how long it was. It's a 6-year deal, but the point is, even if it is a 6-year deal, it's still got to beat the Houston Astros deal of $156 million, and probably by a decent chunk, because A, you're dealing with Canada and dealing with taxes, and also B, you're dealing with the fact that you're asking this guy to uproot his life and come to Canada and leave his former team. So for me, it's probably got to be 170. I don't know what the number exactly is, but it's got to be a lot more on that total value for the 6-year deal. So for when I look at it that way, for me, I'm kind of okay, yeah, they're in the market, but they're not completely out. But it does feel like that these two guys are kind of leaning towards going back to their old teams. That's kind of what Bob Nightingale was out here talking about. He was saying that Alex Bregman, no one's really beating that $156 million offer, which kind of makes me think that the Blue Jays aren't doing it either. So then you might just go back and take the 156 6 years from the Astros, and then Pete Alonso, we know the situation there. We're not beating that $70 million 3-year deal by that much more. So we're not really hitting that price tag that you brought up on Bad for Baseball that would say, okay, well, this is the price I need from the Blue Jays to uproot my life, go to play for Toronto and get away from the Mets. And I don't think we're meeting that either. So that's kind of how I'm interpreting it.
Well,
right
here's the thing, man. I just wholeheartedly disagree with Bob Nightingale's logic there. His whole logic is, well, okay, if Alonzo was going to come here, then he would have come here already.
Oh yeah, that's also in the article that he says.
If Bregman was going to come here, would have come here already. And I hear you, I get that, but the exact same argument can be made for Bregman going back to the Astros or Alonzo. And let me put it this way: well, if Alonzo was going to go back to the New York Mets, he had 6 fucking years to sign an extension and do that. Why hasn't that happened yet, Bob? If that's the logic that you're using, I just think that there's a couple fallacies involved there. Now, I do agree that ultimately, Pete Alonso, if he could have his number one choice, well, maybe he'd choose the Dodgers, but if he had his number one choice over anything, he would probably choose the New York Mets. And I am well aware of that. I know that wholeheartedly. I can say that with my chest. However, that hasn't been the case up to this point. He has not made that decision yet, and with an offer still on the table, we are still very much in the mix right here. Maybe you tack on $5 extra million if you really want to push it over the top here, but I don't agree with Bob Nightingale on thinking that it's like, oh, well, because he hasn't done it already, he's not gonna do it.
Yeah, like that's what he says in this article right here, and I gotta agree. He also doesn't talk about the Blue Jays with Alex Bregman at all. Like that's not even in the conversation right now. But I do agree. Yeah, I mean, obviously he wants to be New York Met, but there's obviously a price that he's looking for, and he's not getting it. So he's got to make a sacrifice on one of the two things. He's got to sacrifice where he wants to play for, or the price that he wants to get, the money that he wants to make. He's got to make that sacrifice. And then, if you have to sacrifice one thing, well, what's the plan B option? Am I doing a short-term high AAV, and who's that going to be with? Who's going to offer me that best thing so that next year I could maybe get a better deal? So that's kind of the update on Pete Alonso right now. We're still waiting, but according to Bob Nightingale, it might be happening soon because things are kind of getting quiet right now.
Well, because,
no one's really
spring training is not very far away. Pitchers and catchers not that very far away. Like, you're getting to that point right now where, like, there's no hard deadline. Like, these guys could theoretically wait until August if they really wanted to.
Right.
But
probably the hard deadline is opening day.
You're at that point where, like, there's at the very least a soft deadline approaching where if you are going to be changing cities, I would imagine that if you are one of those guys, you kind of want to know about it, and you kind of want to tell your family about it. So I do think that a deal is coming very soon for both of them, just from necessity's sake. Quick shout out here to a couple donations from Mauricio saying, $5 dono, saying, what comes first, Alonzo signing, Bregman signing, or Vlad Jr. extension? Tough to know right there. I would imagine that, I would guess Guerrero extension because if it happens because we are approaching that time frame. Now, if you're past February 17th and there's no Guerrero extension, then one of the other two, I will change my answer right there. But I do think that a Vlad extension probably.
Yeah, I would say Vlad extension for this reason, and that I think the Mets are waiting to see, and I think that actually Bob does bring this up in his article. The Mets are waiting to see what the Blue Jays do with Vladdy before deciding on Alonzo and what their final deal could look like, because they are holding out a little bit of hope that Vladdy will be a free agent next year, and then if they have Alonzo locked down for 3 years and no opt-outs, and they're like, well, what do we do? We're kind of handcuffed right now, especially now that we got Juan Soto. He might be a DH in the near future, really. So what do we do in that situation? So I would say Vladdy first. And then I could see honestly these guys going to like early March. I'm serious. It's Scott Boras.
Impossible, because you did see that last year. I would imagine that those guys don't want to do that. Just because they also saw what happened last year. But you know what? If you're not getting the offer, you're not getting the offer. Yeah. So I'll say Guerrero extension. Money due with a $2 donation. This is sad. It's fun, but it's sad. Fun fact: Madison Bumgarner has more career home runs than Miles Straw. Take that in, everybody. Take that in.
Matt Bum was actually a good hitter.
Oh, honestly, dude, he could be bad in cleanup for some fucking squads. He had his moments, dude. He did have his moments. And then final shout out here to Jordan Keats with a $5 donor saying, my uncle had a thought if we signed both Alonzo and Bregman. Makes me wonder if Bo will stay or not. Vladdy will, though. Question is who plays shortstop after Bo. That is a good question. I would anticipate that Bo Bichette, regardless of Alonzo or Bregman, probably gone. That's kind of the consensus at this point, that it's just not like he's gonna hit free agency. He, and then at that point, I guess it will come down to who's looking at him. But I don't think that the Toronto Blue Jays are going to be re-signing Bo Bichette. When Adam says, talking about the last dance, it really is the last dance for Bo. It might not be for Guerrero. You might have 12 last dances with Guerrero, but it really does feel like the last dance with Bo Bichette on this team, regardless of what happens with Alonzo or Bregman or anything like that, which is sad. I mean, I own his jersey. It's going to be sad when he leaves. But, I hope that they have a strong contingency plan. Arjun Namala is part of that. If you do sign an Alex Bregman, for instance, that infield is going to get a lot stronger, even though he's not directly going to play third base. There is other ways to go about this.
Yeah, and a quick immediate fix for who plays shortstop next year is Andres Gimenez. That's an easy fix. I mean, I think that's honestly why part of the reason why we got Andres Gimenez is that's our shortstop backup.
Shai Davidi even said it. When we had him on, Shai Davidi was speculating or just saying that there is that thought. Now it's not the direct reason why or anything like that, but it grants you the opportunities to be able to have him there and not worry as much from a defensive standpoint about Bo Bichette. And then because of that, you're not as worried defensively speaking. That allows you to then maybe supplement the offense with somebody like a Pete Alonso or something like that. It doesn't need to just be a shortstop.
Would love that. Also, I did want to bring up Madison Bumgarner's stats. Again, for a pitcher, this is very good. Batted 172 with 19 homers in 633 at-bats.
19 homers?
19 homers from a pitcher.
That's really nothing to scoff at.
No, 65?
That's the same amount as George Springer had, I think. No. Maybe George Springer had a bit more than that.
No, and then he had 19.
Did he have 19?
He had 19.
But, in slightly more at-bats.
Yeah.
Springer. That's kind of wild.
Yeah, it's insane. Like low-key, Madison Bumgarner, shout out to you. You're a legend, man. But, so that's kind of the update right now on Alex Bregman and Pete Alonso. Let us know in the comments down below, guys, your thoughts.
At this point, what would you say is more likely, and then which individual would you like more? Because I asked people that on Instagram. I was like, who would you prefer? And I don't want to I won't tell you where people went, but who would you prefer and which one would be more likely, do you think?
I would probably prefer, honestly, I think I'd prefer, and I think more likely is Pete Alonso. Prefer because give me home runs, give me power. I want more. I need guys behind Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And also, it would be a 1-year deal. Let's figure out what this team is this year. Let's push all the chips in the middle, play a good season, and then once Bo leaves, let's take that money and let's reallocate it somewhere in a need. Let's address what the team looks like, because what if there's some breakouts? What if we need some more guys in the infield, more spots there, right? Let's commit to only 1 year. Whereas, Alex Bregman...
It could be a 3-year deal, though. That's what they have on the table right now.
But I know a lot of the speculation right now is 3 years with opt-outs. There's opt-outs within the 3 years. And then if he was going to come to Toronto, it'd be like a 1 year, pay a lot here, maybe 2-year opt-out, 3-year opt-out, whatever it might be. But give me a short period of time with Pete Alonso. And then the reason why I don't want Alex Bregman over him is because more commitment, could age bad, could be another George Springer. We already got an Anthony Santander for 5 years. That's another long contract. But again, could age bad. I don't want 2 of those contracts right now. And then, again, we have so many infield prospects that maybe there's a job. Maybe one of them breaks out and we want to have a job open for them. So, yeah, less commitment for me.
I get that. I do get that. The Instagram poll, by the way, everybody, we had thousands of votes. If you're not already, go follow us on our Instagram, guys. We're posting there multiple times a day, but 60% of people also said Pete Alonso. 40% of people, though, were on Alex Bregman. And honestly, I think that there are strong arguments for both. You see Jordan Keats right in here with a $2 dono saying that I prefer Bregman because it does solve that third base problem. And you're absolutely right. Even when Bregman gets bad, offensively speaking, he is still a set it and forget it at that third base. He kind of just becomes Andres Gimenez,
Right.
But at the third base bag. Whereas right now, it's like, he's 2022 Andres Gimenez, which is really, really good. Greg coming in here with a wild one, $6.99 dono saying, am I crazy? Or is Ernie statistically equal to or better than Bregman, younger, cheaper, and who knows with more playing time? You might be crazy,
You might be
Greg.
a little crazy,
I think
Greg.
you might be a little nuts, to be honest with you. I mean, appreciate the donation, but I think we got to call you out on this.
Yeah, again, Bregman, he's much more proven, much more, he's had way better offensive seasons than Ernie Clement has ever had in his entire career. His down year, which was last year, was better, I believe, than Ernie Clement.
By 100, close to 100 OPS.
Close to 100 OPS. On base was better. Batting average was better. Home runs were better. And again, they might be equally defensively. Like Ernie's a very good defender. Like he had a 3.4 WAR, but Bregman, even in his down year, had a 4.1 WAR. And yeah, he's a little bit younger, but not by much. Only about 2 years. So. Yeah, you might be a little crazy, Greg.
Might be a little nuts there, Greg. I do hear what you're saying, and I do think that some people, myself included, actually, sleep a little bit on Ernie Clement.
Oh, for sure.
But at the end of the day, like Alex Bregman is several tiers above.
And you know what? Like Ernie Clement is fine for who he is. Like, I mean, for time we had Kevin Pillar, and I'm not comparing Ernie to Kevin Pillar. Kevin Pillar was an icon.
It's got a long way to go to get.
To go, and especially defensively, he's above and beyond like everybody that I've ever seen play center field, other than Milton Varsho. But point is, like, you're okay with this guy batting in the low 700 OPS, high 600 OPS with the low batting average. Actually, Ernie has a better batting average than Kevin Pillar because he, provides you good defense. And again, he's in your 8 spot, or 9 spot. Like it's fine. Those guys are fine. Unless you have other players, if you have other players to make up for the offense, right?
Yeah, of course, right. And ultimately, like, if you're getting Bregman, you want the offense too. And right now, I look at Ernie Clement and I like it, but I don't love it. I'm not looking at Ernie Clement to ever really bat in the top of the order. At the end of the day, like, that's a 7, 8, 9 hitter, and that's I think you kind of saw what you're going to see from Ernie last year, and that's fine. That's really fine if you have several guys at the top of the lineup like Alex Bregman who are driving in runs and doing everything like that. So I certainly hear what you're saying. I think that maybe the better way to frame that, or the better question is Alex Bregman worth $150 more million than Ernie Clement would be, right?
And you might have an argument
there. And then we can start talking.
You know what I mean? Shout out to Ann Beacock. I love how we're taking a lot of donos and questions in here right now, because that's kind of where we're at in this season and this offseason. Ann saying here, Barger would be better than Clement at third base. I don't know if we have enough sample size. I think the potential, you could argue, would be there. I mean, defensively, I don't know, actually. I really haven't seen a lot of Barger. And honestly, the times I did see him, I wasn't like uberly impressed. That more impressed than I was in Ernie Clement.
I'm always impressed by the effort. I'm
impressed by the effort.
Again, I genuinely feel bad for Addison Barger and the development that we've seen with him so far, because he's never been up at MLB for an extended period of time. It's always, a couple weeks here, a month here, a little bit there, back down, back down, back down. So he's never had enough time. And then he always gets utilitied in, like, so many different spots. And I understand that, like,
trying to find a spot for him.
Exactly. And I get it, right? It's like, that's just the way of it. But it's got to be very tough for somebody like that who is up and down, and never in a stable position to really get established. Because, from the outsider looking in, it's tough to now. Like, we've seen him, but I still don't know what role you can play. Because I've never actually seen you, like, in a role long enough to tell.
Well, this sparks a question. We're kind of going all around, but, like, whatever. This is a good conversation. What do you expect from Addison Barger this year?
That's the thing. I don't fucking know.
Because right now,
I don't know.
I think they have him, Fangraphs, projected on our bench, but, like, what playing? I guess it all depends if we get Alex Bregman. Assuming this is the roster we walk in this year, which is the guys we have right now. Like, does he split time with Ernie at third? Or is that Will Wagner?
I think that they are going to do pretty much exactly what you've seen them do up till this point, which is at any given day, you could see him in the lineup, you could not. And at any given day, he could be playing somewhere that you don't expect. Right? Like, I still come back to, and I will never let the Toronto Blue Jays live this one down, but I still come back to the fact that this guy gets brought up on 3 hours of sleep, that doesn't know, no idea what's going on, where he is, and then they thrust him into his first MLB game at a position that he's never played before. I will never fucking get over that.
I know that was insane. That was quite the debut, and then he makes an error in the outfield,
which I literally told, we were live for that.
It was going to happen,
and I said it at the top. It's going to happen, and I feel I don't even like I know it's going to happen.
So actually, I got it right here by Fangraphs. They actually don't have him projected. Think about this, because we only have 4 spots on the bench. You have Tyler Heineman you got to ride with, or whoever else breaks camp for the catcher. Leo Jimenez as the backup shortstop. Now, I wonder if they send him down. Like, he provided a good role last year, but, like, you do have Andres Jimenez with the ability to go over to shortstop if need be. And then second base, you have Will Wagner as well. He could definitely go and fill in there. So I'd be interested to see what happens there. David Schneider, who the hell knows, right? And then they got Miles Straw. They're not counting for Joey Loperfido in this team, or Addison Barger right now, or a Jonathan Clase. It's interesting to see who's going to break camp, and because we're running into this issue where there's a lot of depth in these positions, but nobody's really breaking out right now.
I'll tell you right now, we do need to get to a donation very soon, but and I do see it, but I'll tell you right now, I don't think David Schneider is going to be with MLB.
I agree.
I don't think
there's
he
no
will.
reason for David Schneider to be on the
unless he goes nuclear.
Yeah.
In spring training, like when he shows up first to camp, he looks great.
Yeah.
And then in spring training, he continues to go crazy. Then, okay, fine, I
Right.
see the argument. But, like Leo Jimenez, and this is the shitty thing about the Toronto Blue Jays right now, is that you have several guys that are top prospects for you, but not like Aurelvis Martinez top, but still too good to like just keep in the minors, and they all play the same role.
Yeah.
And that's Jimenez, that is Barger, that's various other guys that you have. Aurelvis Martinez would be one of them. And you're kind of stuck with this spot where, well, I want Jimenez to get opportunities. But where?
How many? Yeah,
and
that's a guy I didn't even mention too. I see you're looking at right now. Like, what about Aurelvis Martinez? Is he going to come and split time at third base with Ernie Clement, or play a little bit of second? I know he's like technically a second baseman right now. Is he going to get some opportunities right there? But that's the thing. Do you want to spend your top prospect because he's going to be on the bench most of the time? And then again, same kind of thing. Where's Addison Barger? Where's Jonathan Clase? Where is Joey Loperfido? Because right now they got Miles Straw. Like, you got that situation going on up there. It'll be interesting. That's definitely an area that I think, especially in spring training, we're going to be giving a lot of focus to, because somebody needs to show up. It's a competition right now.
That's the thing, and like for players like that as well, that's why there's been all those conversations about potentially making a trade.
Yeah.
Because when you think about Aurelvis Martinez and Jimenez and Barger, they're the type of player that you wanna see what they got at MLB. I can't promise you that they're gonna develop into strong MLB players. I can't, but we know that they have potential. They were top prospects for a reason, and they're all running into this wall where we never commit to any of them. So that's why you're hearing all those conversations about a trade. And honestly, it ties in very well to what Patrick Hamilton donated and was asking about, which is, what are your thoughts with the lack of effective left-handed pitchers, none in the rotation, and fringe minor leaguers in the bullpen? And I genuinely think that is a great point. And it is something that we are not giving enough light to. I think it's because I just want to bury my head in the sand and pretend that it's not a problem, but it is a problem, right? You don't have a single left-handed pitcher in the rotation, and then very minimal, and
one. It's Brandon Little.
Yeah, it's not like we got the Josh Hader of lefties in the bullpen here or anything like that to save the day. You're absolutely right. So honestly, it's like, kind of you might want to take one of Leo Jimenez or something like that and flip him for a lefty potentially.
Hey, people were saying get back Ryan Yarborough. Is he a lefty? People were saying get back Ryan Yarborough.
Let me take a look. Actually, I can't
remember this guy at all, because that's kind of the season we're not paying attention too much. But it's going to be a very, very interesting conversation moving forward.
He is a lefty. Yeah,
he is lefty. Get him back. Eat some innings, right?
You know what? I'm honestly kind of surprised that the Toronto Blue Jays management, the front office, haven't made more of an effort to go out and get the lefties. And let me be very clear.
Yeah.
I love the Scherzer edition, and I like the rotation as a whole. Right? It's not like you look at those pitchers, I want all of them there. It's not like I don't want you there, so I get the issue. But, we've heard such a huge narrative from the Toronto Blue Jays in the past about how we need to have lefties in the lineup. We need it. We have to do it.
We fixed that issue. Our lineup is righty-lefty all the way down.
You're right.
I love it.
And they did address that issue.
But we're worse.
But that's why I wonder why, you haven't heard the same kind of narrative about the pitching, right? Like, I felt like that narrative about the lineup was so overblown, and it was something that we talked about for, several seasons, honestly. And we're just, it feels like the front office is just totally cool to walk in. Maybe there's different analytics to it. Maybe they're seeing something that I don't see. I don't know.
Well, it's interesting because, everyone has their own opinion on this, but if there were really to be an area of need where I really do need lefties, it'd be in starting pitching, because you want to give that lineup, you want to change that lineup and make it uncomfortable every single day. Like
in a series, especially like a 4-game series. We're
righty,
throwing
lefty,
righty.
lefty.
You're gonna see one lefty maybe one time for one inning.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's Brendan Little.
Yeah, exactly.
The entire rest, the other like 30 odd innings
Dude,
that you're playing against is gonna be right.
Brendan Little is going to be so overworked by John Schneider.
Oh my God, yeah.
Actually, here's my take. I think Brendan Little's going to have a terrible year because he's going to get, unless they make a trade or an addition, he's going to get overworked to the shit.
Little is going for like 80 innings out of the bullpen.
He's going 80 innings with a 5.50 ERA. Like, straight up, you need more help in there, man. You can't rock with that. So, yeah. Anyway, so I know we kind of went off topic a little bit there, but that's kind of the whole insight on what our roster looks like.
It all ties together. Pitchers and catchers report is coming in, like we said, less than 2 weeks. So.
Look at this, y'all. That's crazy. On the 13th. Here we are on the 3rd, of course. Wow.
Yeah, like that's 10 days away.
10 days
10 days away, pitchers and catchers are reporting, and only one of them is capable of throwing from their left arm. So something to note. A very, very good question there. Thank you for the dono. We appreciate diving into all of that. Shout out to the 600 people that are currently watching. If you haven't already done so and you are appreciating the commentary and the discussion, please hit that like button and subscribe to Blue Jays Today. We are getting dangerously close to 30,000 subscribers. That's been the goal for time. I know all our OGs know about it, so if you're new here, please help us get there, everybody. We would really appreciate it. And when the season starts, tons more content coming. We're really hoping we can make it down to spring training. No promises or anything like that, but we really hope so. Obviously, tons of live stream, tons of everything, so this is the spot to be.
And if we do go to spring training, we'll let you guys know. If anybody's in the area, let's meet up. That would be so awesome, guys. Let's give a quick shout-out to the sponsor of today's Blue Jays Today show. Hey, guys, time for a quick shout-out to the sponsor of this video. Hit your picks and knock it out of the park with Betway. Scan the QR code down below or click the link in the description to join the action. Available in Ontario only. Must be 19 years older to participate. And, guys, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
Shout out to Betway, everybody, for being absolutely phenomenal. It is the place to go if you have any interest at all in sports betting. Let us know in the comments who you're riding with. Is it Chiefs? Is it Eagles? Super Bowl this Sunday. I hate it. I hate every part about it. I really, really do, man. You got the even worse than the LA Dodgers of football over here in the Kansas City Chiefs.
This is what the LA Dodgers could be, except
they want to be.
Except the difference here is like they're not built like the Dodgers. They just got their help from the entire NFL.
Pretty much, yeah, and one crazy superstar who's not even playing that well.
Dude, he's not playing that well.
Listen, I know. It's Andy Reid. Andy Reid is but he is a Hall of Fame coach. No questions asked. I mean, like, this is why coaching is so goddamn important in the end. Yes, Patrick Mahomes is good, whatever. Andy Reid's fucking nuts.
Probably 90% of their plays, you guys know football, 90% of their plays is like some sort of like pass option, some sort of run option, some sort of like play action. Like there's always a
shovel pass to the tight end
there's always a second or third possibility with every play that he rolls out there, and it's like, okay, well, it's just genius. So shout out to Andy Reid. With that being said, Chiefs money line of 1.8, that feels like easy money to take right there. They're gonna get the 3-peat.
Quite possibly. Also, shout out to everybody who is subscribing right now. We appreciate every single one of you. W's in the chat for our new subscribers. You guys let us know in the comments, who are you riding with? I'll be honest, I don't love either of those teams, but I do like Saquon Barkley. I do appreciate Jalen Hurts. I like a lot of the players on the Philadelphia Eagles, and I just despise the Chiefs so much that I want the Eagles to win. Therefore, I have to bet on the Chiefs. So, that's what it is.
I've been betting with my heart against the Chiefs for the last 3 years. I've won $0.
You're broke.
Time to win. Time to win. It watches me the one time. If it's the one time,
but listen, that's okay.
I know, it's the cost of it.
And you know what? And a lot of people were saying this, and it's actually our fault, right? It really is our fault.
Yeah.
If we don't want somebody to win something, right? So let's say it's the Dodgers, okay? It's the Dodgers. The Dodgers are in the NLCS, NLDS, anything like that. Every single person bet on LA to win. Everyone puts $10 in. Nobody puts it. Let's say they're up against the Padres. No one puts a single cent on the Padres. Everyone puts money on the Dodgers. So then, therefore, I mean, Vegas. We could either bankrupt Vegas,
right,
or
that'd be good.
They have to make a call and be like, "Hey guys, we're about to go bankrupt unless you step in.
Yeah,
and
come
then
on,
that's
refs.
okay too.
Yeah.
And then that's okay. We lose.
All right.
Everybody loses $10, but we don't have to see the Dodgers anymore. We don't have to see the Chiefs anymore. Just saying.
That's the motive. So download the app, click the link in the description, download Betway. If you want the Chiefs to lose, bet on them right now.
Yes. Now, I know that you're pulling up our mailbag, and I do want to get to that, everybody, but I also saw Pacoda is out.
Oh, boy.
Pacoda is out. The annual Pacoda predictions. I don't know why this gets so much love in baseball, honestly.
I don't know.
But it's here, and honestly, I'm kind of impressed with where they have Toronto. I'm a little surprised as to how well they are respecting the Toronto Blue Jays right now.
Wow.
Disrespecting Boston, I think. Too much.
Yeah.
Disrespecting Boston way too much here. But you know what? I will still take it, man. 84.5 wins. Listen, that's a season that I can actually watch and, not want to throw up every time baseball comes on the screen.
Now, in all of their projections right here, do the Toronto Blue Jays make wild card? Let's see. So, obviously, New York, Minnesota, Texas making at 3 spots left. It'd be Baltimore, it'd be Houston, and it would be Seattle. We would miss it by 1 game, apparently.
Yeah, but 36.5% of the time... No. Oh, geez. Dude, they have us at 49% chance
half
to make
the
playoffs.
Time?
Hey.
Honestly, I think that's probably realistic. We make it half the time.
You think so, yeah?
I mean, with this current roster, yeah. Half the time, we get all the big breakouts. Everything kind of goes our way. And the other half, everything doesn't go our way.
Right.
So that's kind of, and I do think, like, what I say our line was at with this roster, I probably said 83 wins is where we're currently at. They got us a little bit higher than that, 84.5. So... Yeah, maybe half.
I want to know where they get some of these predictions though, because
read more about it.
That's true. I could read more about it. But like, you look at Cleveland. This feels like significant disrespect, and I get it. The roster on a paper is not great.
That's what they're projecting.
But like, why is Cleveland projected to win 1.5 less games than Tampa Bay? Mm-hmm. That makes no sense to me. You know what I mean? That doesn't make any. They play Chicago White Sox 13 times. That makes no sense to me at all. Right. So look, again, Pacoda is Pacoda. I don't know why it gets as much love as it does. But
look where they have the Dodgers at 103.8.
Oh Jesus! 100% of the time.
Hey, they
make playoffs.
So we have a Bad for Baseball episode coming out. We're talking about the San Diego Padres. I said they had 82, 83. They have them at 82.5. San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
Boom. There you go.
Dude, okay. This is also blasphemous as well. Chicago Cubs have an 86.9% chance to make playoffs
because of their division.
But
they think they're gonna basically win the division 79% of the time, make wild card that other sliver.
And Milwaukee, they have Milwaukee down. What is that? 11 wins from last year? More than that? I forget
because they lost Williams and Adames. Is that enough for them to lose 10 more games? 12 more games?
Listen, okay, you guys let us know your thoughts about that. I'm getting more frustrated.
Hey guys, time for a quick shout out.
You know what? I will still take the 84.5 wins that they are giving to the Toronto Blue Jays. That feels nice. That feels good. I like it.
It might feel a little like a win or two higher than where I'm kind of feeling at, but hey, I mean that feels good. That definitely feels good. So also I'll bring up the mailbag because I got a question here. A few questions actually coming in talking about the whole MLB. They were they were ranking their first baseman, and a lot of people were kind of getting a little upset for the fact that Vladdy was 4th. So I'll put this question in here right now.
While you're doing that, quick shout out to Justin Pike with a $2 dono saying, sign Alonzo, trade for Arenado. What do you think? I think that sounds amazing. Wow. I think that it is so far out of reality, though. That, it probably, listen, man, that'd be awesome. That would really be awesome. And, that 84.5 would have to jump up quite a bit, but it's probably far out of the realm of reality, TBH. I haven't heard that much about the Arenado trade anymore at this point.
The last thing I heard was that they're probably not going to trade him.
Is that?
He's probably going to, the most people are feeling on MLB Network that he's probably going to start the season with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Right. And then kind of do that and then see how he's doing at trade deadline. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe if we're popping off and third, we don't have anyone at third, like Ernie's not doing it, and at the trade deadline, it's like, he is back to old Nolan Arenado ways.
Huh?
Like, all right, sign me up. But
You never know.
Lots of hoops to jump through in that one, dude. But thank you very much for the donation. So yeah, shout out to Elliot right here for submitting to our mailbag. If you guys have any interest at all in asking us a question, then hit the link in the description. We got a link to our mailbag. You can ask it. We answer like anywhere from 3 to 5 questions every single Monday and every single Friday, or on any real live stream on Blue Jays Today. Sooner rather than later, I'd love to even start taking a couple call-ins. I think that would be like really, really cool. But for now, if you guys want to ask us a question, then do so in the link in the description. Elliot asking about those first baseman rankings. Vladdy fourth.
So you got Freddie Freeman for those audio listeners first, Bryce Harper second, Matt Olson is third, then you've got Guerrero fourth, and then from rest on you got Diaz, Contreras, Walker, Alonzo down at 8, Lowe 9, and then Goldschmidt 10. But Vladdy 4 after just last year being the number 1 first baseman by a decent chunk according to OPS, batting average, on base. And I think he's second or tied for second in home runs. Oh, tied for third in home runs. Where are you kind of at in that?
Yeah, listen, the problem with lists like this is like how much it's always like what are we
what are we basing it
exactly? Are we basing it off of what we think they're going to do next year? Are we basing it off of the last 3 years? Are we basing it off of just this past season? And if it's just this past season, are we basing more off of the second half of the year or the first half of the like? It's just so hard because again, like Freeman, Harper, Olson are incredible,
phenomenal
baseball players. Guerrero had a slightly better year OPS wise last year. However, in Freddie Freeman's case, the guy, you could argue the guy won a World Series and came up incredibly clutch in the postseason. Does that factor into it at all? I don't know.
Yeah, I think if you look at it from the perspective of, okay, last year, just last year, you go, obviously he is not the, obviously he would be the best first baseman because it's like just looking at numbers in the regular season, you go, okay, easily it's Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but I think they're just talking about overall, just if you were to take any of these first basemen for let's win 1 year, who would you take? And then you might start to wonder, maybe you do take the old, reliable, and always good Freddie Freeman. He
did do it in the World Series.
Doing it in the World Series. He's been doing it for his whole career. His entire career he's been doing it. Same with Bryce Harper. Yeah. First ballot Hall of Famer, Bryce Harper, of course.
He also did have, I know he was a little bit injured last year, but when he was on the field, like, again, like not that far off from Guerrero, offensively speaking.
Absolutely.
I don't know what his defense is like though, or any.
I mean, all the first basemen kind of
aren't great. But again, something to mildly consider right there.
Yeah, and then of course, I think you could probably make an argument with Matt Olson. He's kind of like Guerrero. Some years are great, some years aren't great. So there's arguments there. But I mean, my reaction is maybe I'd put Vladdy third. If I'm just doing like I'm walking in, who's done the most. Who do I feel confident rolling out as my first baseman? I'd probably put Vladdy.
I think you at least need to put him above Matt Olson, just because Matt Olson, like again, Harper and Freeman both still had great years. Olson had a year similar to Pete Alonso last year, and Pete Alonso's down at 8, right? It's like, okay, well, if Alonso's down at 8, why is Olson up at 3 when they did basically the same thing? And like Alonso's career has been very similar to Olson's career, so that doesn't make any sense to me. Right. Honestly, that's why I much prefer like ranking videos are great for engagement and piss people off, but I mean, I personally much prefer like tier lists.
Yeah, because you can't really put one guy over another.
That's the thing. I mean, like at any given point, like is Harper better than? You know what I mean? It's like I look at them. They're in a similar tier, right?
Right,
You are tier 1 first baseman. If you're on my team, I'm not thinking about changing it.
Yeah.
Like, get to set it and forget it. I'm super happy with where I'm at. It's hard to upgrade from you.
I can't wait for the mid-season tier rankings. We love to do that during the regular season when things kind of run out of things to talk about. We'll bring up the tier rankings of the current Toronto Blue Jays. Those are always so much fun. Just reassessing.
I do enjoy that. Yeah.
You know?
A lot of people have some strong opinions about it. Let's get to another question here. This one is from Greg. What does he have to say?
Greg's got a Jays batting lineup. He's saying, why not give Wagner a shot at the leadoff spot to start the year? Because a lot of people were talking about this in Nick's breakdown video of the lineup, and like when we were talking about who's going to lead off next year instead of George Springer, everyone's shouting out Will Wagner. See what happens. He's also a lefty, if you count for that. The lineup that Greg is suggesting would go Wagner, Bo, Vlad, Santander, Springer, Jimenez, Kirk, Varsho, Clement. Basically the same lineup, but you're dropping Varsho way down, and then you have Wagner way up, assuming no Pete Alonso or Bregman. Why should we give Wagner a shot opening day at leadoff spot?
If Will Wagner comes out and looks like prime Ohtani in spring training, then sure.
Yeah.
I just think that we are jumping the gun a little bit, and I think it's a little unfair to Will Wagner after the 82 major league at bats that he has had in his career.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair to go, all right, you're the leadoff guy.
Right.
You know, unless Will Wagner was, like a top 10 prospect in all of baseball, not just for the Toronto Blue Jays, in all of baseball, and we were so sure that he was, think about, okay, let me put it this way. Jackson Holliday was the #1 overall prospect in all of baseball. The son of a, incredible, is he a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Son of a Hall of Famer. Everyone in their dog is like, Jackson Holliday is going to be one of the best baseball players that we've seen in a long time. And I know that Baltimore has Henderson up there and everything like that, but they started batting him 6th or 7th when he came out.
Dude, and then at one point in the year, he's batting effing 9th.
That's the thing.
Oh, he's not a Hall of Famer. Wow,
I know it was close.
shocked.
I knew it was really close. Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was or wasn't, but
Wow.
not a Hall. Okay, son of not a Hall of Famer.
Oh, he's going to take a little bit of time. 2018 is when he retired. Is he on the ballot yet? Anyways, we're getting off topic.
Getting very much off topic there. Son of a very good baseball player
Yeah.
at this point right now. Point being, though, I think it's unfair to Will Wagner, and I think that, you're asking way too much of him at that point. I think that you start him lower in the order.
Yeah.
Yep, you have Bichette up there. You got Guerrero up there at the top. Let him do his thing, batting 6th. I think I put him 6th in my lineup, and I think that was more than fair.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
And it's the DH, too. It's
Yeah.
like your whole role is to hit. That alone is its own thing.
And that's what he did. He hit. He did nothing but hit last year. Good driving guys, right? So, yeah, for me, again, you got to simplify this and ask yourself, who do you want having the most at-bats? Do you want it to be Will Wagner? Again, no disrespect to Will Wagner, but do you really want Will Wagner to take on the role of, I have the most at-bats, I'm going to be seeing the ball the most in this game for this Blue Jays team? Probably not to begin the year.
If in June he's got
Correct.
a 950 OPS,
and he's batting 350 with an on base of 400.
We can talk.
That's perfect.
We can
put
talk.
him up in the top of the lineup.
Yeah, we can talk now.
We got to have a little bit more sample size. I love the idea of him being. Don't get me wrong. I think if anybody were to be a leadoff guy, probably Will Wagner, because if what he showed is I bat for 330 batting average, then of course it'd be Will Wagner. But we haven't seen a full season.
We're still too early on to be doing that, in my opinion. Again, I hope that that's something that comes, which I guess is a perfect segue into the next question that we have here.
From nobody. It's literally, they didn't want to spit their name, which is fair.
Right.
But now
anonymous
question. Now I'll throw a little wrinkle in this question for those people and audio listeners. The question is, who is your 2025 breakout? We'd actually had this question before, and we both said Will Wagner. Someone other than Will Wagner.
Did we say Will Wagner?
Yeah, we had this question I think a while ago. But someone other than Will Wagner.
2025 breakout, eh?
Who's gonna break out in 2025? Who do you feel?
Do you have an answer yet? I'm trying to. I don't want to just throw out somebody that I don't. I want to have a legitimate reason behind this, and I'm really trying to rack my brain here as to why this is going to be the case.
Let me take a look here. Yeah, because that's the thing. There's a great argument for Will Wagner in the small sample size. This guy was awesome. And Aurelio Martinez, Assassin Barsha, I just have no idea. Everyone online loves Joey Loperfido. Until I see that swing change, I can't get behind it. He's got to change his swing.
Okay, I'll say this, and this is more of a hopium than anything else, but I think that in terms of what you saw last year, there will be significant improvement, and therefore it will be a breakout. And I will say, second year in MLB, Yariel Rodriguez should take a significant step up. You know, he is now going to be in a role that is a little bit less pressure, right? Because he was kind of, again, when we first got him, this is a guy that was a year and a half removed from even pitching. And you know, he basically immediately came in as the starter and was a starter for the whole year, kind of spot starting where we needed him to. And that's not, like, a lot of people at the time didn't want that, myself included. We kind of wanted to ease him in. And he got thrown into the mix. And there were some great outings, and there were some really piss poor outings. So I'm hoping that second year in the league, now you've had a whole year of pitching at MLB level. You are now taken out of the starting rotation, at least to start the year. You'll be given a little bit of less of a, or more of a low leverage situation to begin, less pressure, more experience. I would anticipate that there is going to be a step up. Is it going to be a 2.5 ERA breakout? I can't promise you that, but I think that you're definitely going to see improvement year over year from Yariel Rodriguez.
Yeah, no, that's a fair one. It's tough, honestly. A lot of these guys are kind of in the same tier in terms of, like, what am I expecting for them? A lot of people in the chat are saying Alan Rodin. I would have said that, but I really don't think he's going to get playing time until, like, maybe June. Like, you know what I mean?
And
it's
I was going through a lot of the guys, you know, like the Bargers and the Jimenezes and stuff in my head. And it's tough because there is that logjam, right? Like,
there's no playing time.
You want to be able to say, yeah, you know, Rodin's going to get his shot, but where?
And where? Yeah, when and where? Like, it's going to be a lot. I straight up think that's why he's going to come up in, like, August, was maybe some injuries. Maybe they've already tested out Lou Perfido and Jonathan Clase, and then it's his turn. And then, again, you have to have injuries, too. So it's tough to see that type of breakout. And then that's where my brain also went to Adam Macko. He hasn't been that good in the minor leagues at all. But the reason why I say Adam Macko, he's the one other lefty bullpen guy in their entire system. And it's like, if they, out of just pure necessity, if they don't trade a guy, maybe he comes up. You know, he's been a prospect we traded for a while ago with Eric Swanson. Does he do something? I don't know. They're in the same tier as me, but that's the only guy that my brain goes, that guy could actually get playing time because out of pure necessity.
Yeah, I get it, right? You know, to have a breakout, you actually need to have opportunities, and it just feels like right now, and that's why we keep talking about the trade, because right now there are people with potential to break out, but there's a lack of opportunities to allow them to do so. So somebody like an Aurelvis Martinez, like, he's got the potential. Shout out and thank you to the person that just subscribed there.
That's Daniela with the
hell yeah,
with the 18-month membership. We have a few donos we'll get to in a moment there, guys. But
Bowden Cy Young season. Bowden's a great one.
That's a good one, actually.
And I was thinking a lot about Bowden Francis. You could argue that he kind of broke out at the second half of last season. Depends what your definition of breakout is. And I thoroughly hope that his breakout continues. I guess I'll put it that way. But yeah, a lot of the hitters, it's tough to say 100% without just jumping on Will Wagner, because there's a lot of them where you don't know when their opportunities are going to come and where they're going to come. So yeah,
you never know. Also, a quick shout out here to Jordan Keats with if something good comes, do we trade Bo this year? You mean if a good trade comes across the table? We'd have to, honestly, I think we'd have to be so far out of the playoffs for us to trade Bo. Like, we'd have to be pretty far, because I think, again, they're going to want it. After all the moves they did this offseason, nothing screams, I want to sell at the deadline. They're going to push until the very end.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to sell they don't want to sell the deadline. Nobody wants to sell the deadline. Are we 10 games below 500?
Yeah, if we're 10 games below 500, we're probably
we're going to sell. We're going to sell at that point, and then it will truly be a fucking fire sale.
Yeah.
But nobody wants that. Blue Jays management don't want that. We don't want that. You don't want that. We're hoping that doesn't happen. Another quick shout out here to Patrick Hamilton, projected to score second most runs in American League with Baltimore. That's crazy.
Really?
If that's from Pacoda, I'm not sure where
ridiculous.
that's. Because I thoroughly disagree with that.
Easily New York, Baltimore, Boston.
That's the thing. Like, there's
Texas, Houston,
Kansas City. Like, there's
maybe Minnesota. Easily, those guys right there I just listed. Easily can score more runs than us.
Yeah, like I understand. That's if everything goes right.
Yeah,
that's if everything goes right for Toronto. If we're scoring the second most runs in the American League, like, wow. Yeah. I hope that that's true and they are onto something there. But folks, that is where we're going to call it for today. If you've been listening in and you're enjoying this, then like we said, please hit that like button and smash the subscribe button. We didn't get to 169 likes, guys.
Whoa.
I'm kind of disappointed in us. I'll be completely honest. So hit that like on the way out, guys. Subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
More baseball and Blue Jays content on the way as we approach spring training, pitchers and catchers reporting, and that Guerrero extension deadline is so close. So we are going to be monitoring that right up until the very final minute.
That's the thing, guys. Vladdy watch, pitchers and catchers watch. It's going to be a fun 2 weeks. It's going to be refreshing because I smell the grass in spring training.
It's almost there, man.
I'm smelling the snow melt. I'm smelling it. It's coming, guys. So, guys, hit that like button and subscribe to Blue Jays today.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. And as always,
go Jays, go! 169. Nice.
Hell yeah.